40 chess. Yeah. 40 chess. 40 chess. Let's get it.
Yo, is that T-Dog?
40 chess. 40 chess. Hey. 40 chess. This a trade show. Patreon where the trades go. Tap in and watch. That's what you came for. Ain't gotta say my name. They know my name, bro.
What's good, man?
We got McNutted in ATM. Always start off the show with a trade from them. You should always make sure that your trade is in. Patreon, why not be a Patreon? Know you wish you could spend every day with them. Tap in and say what you gon' say with them. South Harmon can fill up a stadium. Next time you log in, make sure that you bring a friend. We about to kick off, let the day begin. Go follow the socials. 40 Chess FF is posted. If your trade is an F, you get roasted. Go like and subscribe for the crew. Apple, Spotify, and the YouTube. You know Cooper got the warp too. Let us give you a walkthrough. 40 Chess. This is 40 Chess.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Dynasty Trade Show. So glad you could join us. Really appreciate everybody who watched the last video. The engagement was incredible. The amount of watches and, of course, subscribers were amazing. If y'all could do the same thing, though, if you're not subscribed, go down, hit that button right now, hit the like, and comment away. What trades were good? What were bad? Adam and I are idiots. It's okay. We're used to it. This is what we do it for. But, Adam, buddy, we're back again. Dynasty Trades. And it looks like we'll be talking about a Jordan Addison this week. Jordan
Addison, buddy. We're going to see what our thoughts are on Jordan Addison relative to the community, or if it's just an egregious one, you know. But Jordan Addison, I think it's worth talking about. You know, we got a lot of rookie receiver hype right now. Today's the combine, you know. You're going to see that. But listen, let's talk a little bit of, last year's rookie class. Before we do that, though, Mike, you know what we do? We start off with our own. So let's get right into it, buddy. Let's get into you.
Hi.
McNutted. So we're looking at here a 12-team Superflex. 2 point for the tight end premium. We got to start 14 best ball league. Mike, so speaking of Jordan Addison, here we go. You're sending him away. Dynasty Alex. Don't look. Jordan Love, Garrett Wilson, the 107. Or Jordan Addison, CJ Stroud, and the 111. Mike, I'll let you, it's your deal. I'll let you kind of walk through it, and I'll give you what I think.
There is a heavy tight end premium. You were in this league once upon a time.
Yeah.
So it's that league where we don't actually have a tight end position, but you get
shit
3
survives,
points
right?
For, 3 points for a tight end catch, right? So let me just preface it by saying that's where we're at. You and I, not the biggest Brock Bowers fans. But hypothetically, Adam, would you say in this league Brock Bowers would be worth the selection at the 107?
Yeah, I do. I think he is.
And that's a guy who's going to come in, what, Dynasty tight end 2? 3?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
4?
3. I don't think he goes any lower than 3 right now. I think people are starting to at least get closer on Hawk to where we are. Maybe not quite there, but you're seeing him actually kind of go down the board a lot in startups. So I think right now it's a 3-person race with obviously Laporta. I think McBride and him are kind of neck and neck right now.
Interesting last year, too, just looking at the graphs, the warp graphs for this league. Probably the first league ever because of how many deep starters we have, right? The tight end scoring being juiced, everything else being juiced. If I were to tell you the worst graph, like the lowest graph, top to bottom, is the quarterbacks, would you believe that shit?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen one like that before.
I mean, so let me ask you this right now, because like when I just look at this trade, you're tearing down from Stroud to Love, which,
yes,
like depending on the pluses, I'm actually a pretty big fan of. I've kind of already let you know that if I can get enough out of Stroud, I'm comfortable going down to Love. And this is a guy that, I mean, Mike, I fought and I hated Jordan Love every ounce of me for almost the entire season last year. So I'm doing that. Now, the pluses are this, though. You're tearing up from Addison to Wilson, which, like, for you and I, we both admit that they're in the same tier for us, but I think there's probably an artificial inflation with Garrett Wilson's price relative to Addison. So I'll take that bump. The 107 versus the 111 is the main thing, right? And that's kind of what we're getting at here. And that's, I think the thing about the 111 to me, Mike, in this class, especially given that context, I'm not going to say I don't want it. I definitely like late first and early seconds in this class. But after really kind of like breaking down my receiver tiers, and that'll drop. You can go check that video out, the BDGE video from yesterday. Like I'm kind of a little iffy, especially at like the 111, 112, 201 versus like the 109. I think there's a big difference for me, honestly, especially with McCarthy's hype coming right now. This 111 range is like, can I get a guy like Keon Coleman? Sure, probably can. I love Keon Coleman, Mike, but I just know his community perception super iffy, and I just don't feel as secure as the asset there. Versus, what if you got a guy like Bowers, or any one of the guys in front of him got pushed down to you because of Bowers?
Correct. Like, what if they do fall? All of a sudden, that 107's looking very, very good.
Well, I mean, it's Rome
Odunze ever gonna. Yeah, I don't think the 111, at least right now, and this is a pre-NFL draft, right? We're gonna be drafting this thing in a month.
There you go. Good context to know, right? This is a pre-NFL draft.
So you're gonna have to make that decision. And how safe right now? If I told you, Adam, with what you know, in a month, do you feel really good about drafting at the 111? Like you're going to have a guaranteed stud or a hit?
No. I mean,
you're more than likely to have a miss, ain't you?
I think at that spot you could absolutely hit gold, but you can totally flop. Like it's
totally just off yourself, right? Yep.
And the other thing too is like, what do you tend to do with those people? I think there's not a lot of value insulation with the player there. So, if you draft the player, let's say, and you hold, and you're halfway through the season. I mean, some people that decide to kind of be stubborn on it, you could end up with a situation where you got Quentin Johnson, you're holding, I think he's going to be good, and then that never came, and now what? You got Quentin Johnson. Now, I mean, I'm not saying that it can't go the other way too, but it's just, for me, I think the perception in the player at 107, just walk through it real quick. It's literally going to be, you got, Marv and Neighbors definitely coming off before this pick, I'd almost guarantee, right? With the tight end premium, you either take or Bowers is gone. Then you have the quarterbacks, right? So you got Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels all right there. So that gives you're already at 6, right? I mean, Rome Odunze, all of a sudden, like you're basically getting Rome Odunze or J.J. McCarthy if you prefer him with the draft capital and where he lands. So
worst case scenario, right? It's Rome Odunze. Like your worst case scenario, hypothetically speaking.
Basically, you're saying if J.J. McCarthy doesn't check the boxes for what you want, it's Rome.
So then it's Jordan Addison or Rome Odunze. Like, who do you want?
Yeah, I want Rome.
Right? Already coming in, I'm like a little bit past to being a bigger alpha, right? Being that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was already going through like, at least from what I'm seeing, like Rome Odunze is probably going higher in draft picks than I think the top 15. Probably somewhere in that range minimum, 15, 17. Man, I think he's going to be a top 15 receiver-ish, like in dynasty values in the next 2 to 3 months when that like value bump comes to a lot of these rookies. So I want your side here.
Here's the crazy thing.
Go ahead.
We haven't had the combine officially yet. We haven't seen Rome Odunze work out. By all accounts, a freak. So when you're watching this Saturday, in a couple hours, 1 Eastern, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers will be taking the field for the on-field workouts. Rome Odunze is the only one out of the big 3 wide receivers that's working out at the combine. Adam, right now on Keep Trade Cut, without any of that hype, without landing spot, without draft capital, Rome Odunze is 1 spot ahead of Jordan Addison.
Yep. And, well, so right now, I made the video that's out from yesterday. I made it last night. Mike, so is Rome still at 22 on KTC? Is that what you're looking at?
Right now, he is wide receiver 20.
Wow. So I recorded a video a day later. He's from 22 to 20. So to the point that I was making.
It's already out of date.
Yeah.
Ain't that great?
I mean, but here's the thing, though. Like, honestly, man, to the point you're making, here's the reality of the trade for me. If you are Dynasty Alex, I can at least acknowledge that, like, to tier up to Stroud, you didn't lose a position per se. You didn't actually, like, you didn't have to, send multiple assets. So you're staying 1 for 1. So, like, I can at least acknowledge that point of it. But here's the thing. Best ball with start 14, like, that's not the spot I think I want to pick to really up tier paying the price, in my opinion, to go up to Stroud. I get it, though. Like, Stroud is different. If you think he's going to be a points per game difference maker, for me, I just don't think that really exists relative to Jordan Love. I don't think the gap is sizable. But if you really wanted to go get C.J. Stroud, this probably isn't all that awful. The one thing is that 107, though, kind of really just hinges it for me. With the 3-point tight ends, right? Every catch that a tight end gets with the 2-point tight end premium, that's 3 points. That's just craziness. It's just craziness. So I think that's where that 107 is so valuable.
Josh Allen was the number 7 player in overall WARP in this league. Josh Allen. You know who's 6, Adam? Evan fucking Negro.
Was he? Jeez.
Evan Negro.
Yeah. No wonder I lost. I remember, Mike, in that league, I had a couple tight ends, but just didn't get the right ones. And also, the crazy part, too, is what's cool about it is not just the tight end premium is really high, but you don't have to start one. But to the point you just made, who cares? First of all, it's best ball, so it doesn't matter. And they're scoring in the elite range because the tight end premium is that high. So I think that's the thing that hinges it for me, Mike. If that was the 108, I think I probably would have asked for a little more. Right?
Just a little more juice. Yep.
But because it's the 107, because Brock Bowers exists and the tight end premium in this league exists, and I'm comfortable with every other 6 guys there, I'm taking your side.
Finally got Dynasty Alex to open up for me.
I'm curious to see, though. I'm curious to see what people think in the chat because tier 3 to tier 3 receiver, right? Garrett Wilson to Addison, 107 to 111. All that acknowledgement, all right, but that's not that egregious. And then C.J. Stroud to Love. Let us know what you think in the comments. I think this is a banger of a first trade to start off with, frankly, Mike. I love it.
Let's go to the moon. Set this thing up.
All right. Let's get into Deep C. All right. So when we start with first place, that's McNutted. Then we go to second place, Deep C.
Little shot. Got him.
Bam. Ba-bam. 12 team.
For those of you who don't know, we're in a league together, and he couldn't get over the hump, and the hump being this fucking juggernaut right here, boy.
He couldn't get over the camel's back,
No, camel's back.
The hump. Now, I will say, what was great, though, you have to also understand the context. Is Deep C it wasn't like we're just coming at his throat, right? We don't tend to just go talk shit to people. I mean, I will every now and again. But Deep C was just, really talking his junk, too. So, deservedly, get second place. Was it second place, right? And then Allen got third in that league, no?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Anyway, let's get to the trade. Sorry, Deep C. We had to, air that out for you. Now let's see what you did with your trade. Michael Pittman, 25 second, 25 third. Both of Shane Joe's, who's not in the trade, and a Savage guy. Interesting. Rachaad White and a 25 first. All right, Mike. So Rachaad White and a 25 first from Deep C. We're seeing Deep C do what he does best, leverage away his future. And Michael Pittman's being acquired for a 25 second, with a 25 second and 25 third. What side do you like here? This is a 12 team best ball start 11 Superflex league. This is best ball degens.
Easily Michael Pittman over Rachaad White. It's not even a question for me.
Yeah, that one I think is honestly pretty. I would agree.
And I think in a best ball league, I'm okay sending my first to get a second and a third back if I've just got the little bit of certainty with the wide receiver over the running back. I really am.
Say that
really,
again.
Regardless of warp. I'm okay sending my first if I've won the first part of the deal so much and I get a second and a third back in a best ball league where I'm like, okay, now I got a little bit of liquidity still to play with. It's always tough leveraging your first as 25, especially so far out. But to get off the running back into a wide receiver, it almost feels like it's worth it, right? That big of an upgrade.
Can I tell you where I think the deal really hinges, Mike, actually, for me? So when I just look at this deal, if you tell me that I can make this 25 second or third, if I can just package, let's talk, we package these together. What running back can that buy me? That I think is ultimately, like, from an economy standpoint in that league. If you can get, let's just go to South Harmon ADP, Mike. Let's just talk through some of the running backs and like where you would be comfortable and what the deal would look like then, right? I think that would be a really cool exercise just to kind of give people the concept of where we're coming from on this, because you don't have to use it that way, right? But I think just as a visual, you use it like this. if you said that was Zach Charbonnet? Yes or no to the trade?
I'd send a second and a third to get Charbonnet.
Not even necessarily both. Just let's say. Actually, yeah. For the exercise, let's just do it there because you're probably going to say no here. I would say no as well.
No.
Right.
No, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Let's say that it was David Montgomery.
That's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Probably you're getting in the range, right? What if it was Alvin Kamara?
You're getting in the range. Kind of got to see what happens this offseason, but yeah.
Yeah, because this is the 8th round, right? So what about DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, I think so. Even with him possibly leaving Philly, like the Commanders have been the hot name rumored there.
Right.
Like, I get behind that one.
What about Javonte Williams?
Yeah. Yep.
What about Tony Pollard?
Yeah.
So I think I'm throwing out some names. Now, this is if you put a running back in that slot right now. For me, because then at that point, if you're saying I'm tearing down from Rachaad White to a running back that I don't think has Rachaad White necessarily in the range of outcomes, but I think can at least keep pace. And at this point, I'm viewing running backs as mercenaries, right? So
yes, rentals.
And if I view
Leases.
that, and if I'm viewing that as like I'm just tearing down at running back, and I'm still staying with a running back that has, I don't even care, like opportunity to be a top 15 to 20 running back. I don't even need him to be crazy, right? Just like, can you be reliable in a best ball league like this? That's all I need. And then, Mike, I'm buying Michael Pittman for a 25 first at that point, right? So the cost of the tear down is that I get Pittman for a single first. If you think your team's built well, I can make the case for it. Mike, I'll admit this though. Deep Sea, I'll say from seeing how he's built, like he basically will go all the way to the extreme. So I don't think he's probably going to allow this pick to be a non-playoff team. I've kind of seen how he'll just like do everything necessary to ensure playoffs. That's the one thing though for I think everyone listening and even Deep Sea, like you can build what looks like a mammoth contender right now, Mike, with no liquidity. And shit can hit the fan in a bad way. So the one thing I will say where, Mike, right now, time-wise, I'm not all that into running backs. But, man, it's tough, man. It's tough. I really don't like leveraging away my future right now in February. It just isn't something I like to do, to be honest with you. I'm pretty kind of split on this one. Like, if I was to leverage, like if you told me I can send my 25 first straight up for Pittman, I'm not sending Rachaad White, I think I would just go ahead and leverage it there, right?
Yes.
But I don't know about this whole, I'm sending Rachaad White now for a second and third. I'm okay with the trade. I think, again, like I wanted to give you the concept of how it could work out. I just right now don't like when there's so much that can go awry at this time of year. Up until we don't play till September, I don't like leveraging away my future for that right now, unless I just have an absolute juggernaut.
Understandable. Like I would have a little hesitancy, but running backs, man, I'm treating them like Dwayne the Rock Johnson's character said in Ballers at the beginning, right? If it dries, flies, fucks, or floats, lease it.
Sure,
that's the running backs right there, man.
Well,
send them away. Get rid of them.
Let me ask you this though, because on the 4D side of things, right? If we talk about a 4D move. Mike, Rachaad White right now is on the cusp, I think, of a probably value says he's worth a first, but you have a hard time liquidating typically for a first. Theoretically, if that's 225 first, we're saying hell no.
Right.
So if you're trade spam and you actually do trade spam and you can get rid of Rachaad White for a first, I want that side again too. So I think this trade actually It's fair. I think it's a good one. I just right now, for Deep Sea, you do have liquidity to kind of push in season, so it's not like you're totally getting value loss here. I don't think you're losing a bunch of value. I just don't like leveraging my future. That's the main point.
Inevitably, somebody's going to point out to the scouting combine comments about Rachaad White needs help, like take some of the work off his plate.
Oh yeah, that's already been mentioned by the coach. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Okay,
Coach
speak.
Don't we all know
at the
though?
End of February. I don't give a shit. Yes,
but don't we all know that? Sure. I mean, the Rams use Kyren Williams at an 80-something% clip. They don't expect to have to do that every year. I don't think the Bucs would like to use Rachaad White as often as they did, but that doesn't mean he's still not going to be the primary back or bell cow for that team. Like, it's just stupidity. Don't miss me with that.
That does not mean that he's dead to me. I don't give a fuck. Okay.
It almost means that if he's discounted, I don't like to purchase running backs like you said, Mike, overall, but maybe I would if it was panic. All right. Joe Fest. Joe Fest is starting to feel like a regular here on the trade show. So Joe Fest, we're talking about a 12-team Superflex PPR 1.5 tight end premium lineup start 10. Mike, the Deeks Sucks League. I don't really know what the Deeks is, but
who's the Deeks? Like the triple Deek? Mighty Ducks.
Maybe we're the Deeks. It's really just code for geeks. But
Deeks.
Here we go, Mike.
Then, according to this league.
Ooh, that's that would be fitting.
Deeks.
Fredio Mav or Mave. I don't know why I try to say these names that I don't know. Deebo Samuel, Mike, and Jordan Addison. So Jordan Addison's back. Deebo and Jordan Addison, or 225s. Now, here's the interesting part. One of which you're getting back your own.
Yep.
I mean, typically if I see that already, I already know which side I want. But let's go ahead and do some digging in the back, right? Let's see what let's see what we got.
Joe Fest's got a good team too. Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I almost, when I see this, I assume that you don't, and you're looking to tear it down, right?
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, interested.
Puka Nacua, DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin.
Not bad wide receivers when you're getting rid of Addison and Deebo still. Holy crap.
George Kittle at tight end. Pacheco, B-Rob, Aaron Jones, James Conner, Devin Singletary at running back.
Say those running backs again. James Conner, Singletary.
Pacheco, Brian Robinson, Aaron Jones, James Conner, Devin Singletary.
I'm fine with it. You got 5 bodies, right?
He's got the 112 this year and now 2 firsts, one of them being his own back next year.
Mike, can I tell you why I really like this trade for Joe Fest then? So I was going to say it's like a ridiculous smash if this is how you get your future back if you needed to, tear it down.
To rebuild, yes.
Right. I mean, that would, for the record, if that was the case, that would have been a home run. Honestly, Mike, I could make the case you send both these guys if you have the ability to control your destiny and make that the 101 as a pick. But just conceptually here, I think this is one of the things that honestly I learned from Scott. Shout out to Scott Connor. And that's, you have 4 receivers, Mike, already that you named to me that I feel like I can put into my lineup and feel secure. And Deebo and Addison, like, listen, Deebo looked really good down the stretch. But currently, right now, I think in startups he's back into the 6th, early 7th. And, he's getting older. So, as an asset, you could probably go get Deebo for, maybe not guaranteed, but something in this range, right? Typically a first-round pick, give or take a little bit, can give you a guy like Deebo Samuel. Same thing with a guy like Addison. It might cost you a little more. If someone's panicked, maybe you get, something cheaper. But I think the point is what you're doing is you're liquidating those assets that you're not necessarily having to rely on in your lineup. Because one, if you end up hitting gold in either one of these, it's not going to be your own, hopefully. But if the Freddie Mavs team is worth betting against, that has a better chance to trade you higher than these guys. But also you have flexibility. You can go get anything you want. You don't even have to have 2 receivers now. You could package these 25 first plus something else and get an elite quarterback if someone was to go down. You can go get, whatever you want when you get liquid like this. 2 25s basically put you in a totally different conversation than bringing Deebo and Addison to any trade.
It is a trade with another contender. Here's the thing about it too, though. Not a lot of contenders in this league have their 25 first. So I also like it from that strategy aspect.
The leverage,
so
got it.
It seems like a lot of teams have kind of picked their direction. More established league where you have those rebuilders just hoarding up picks, and a lot of the contenders have already pushed theirs in, right, in 2025. If I've got this kind of team Joe Fest has, it kind of stinks because it feels like it's light, right? Doesn't it feel like it's light? Deebo for the first, you're okay, but then I'm like, I'm just getting maybe a mid to late first.
Addison,
2 years out for Addison.
If someone sent me a single first for Addison in 25, I would say no. I agree with that point. It is light. Right. But if you get to, I think the point that you made earlier just is kind of also what I was getting at, and that's they're finite assets and the other players are not. Now, I will admit, Mike, if you're Freddie Mav at shoot, man, Joe Fest team already loaded. This is probably a late 25. you're betting on yourself here. Like this probably doesn't feel horrible to get rid of those picks, but if you're talking about the economy you just mentioned to me, where everybody in the league understands that and that they are finite assets, they're all kind of fighting to go get those before they're all gone. It could be where you move those 25s later for a lot more. I've seen in leagues how different picks can move at certain times of the year. So I'd be curious to see what ends up happening for Joe Fest here. To your point, though, Addison for a single 25 first, Mike, is not a deal I would ever want to make straight up. Mute, bud.
The one team who has quite a bit of picks, the team name's Deeks Prescott. I don't fucking know what this is, but who cares? Okay, we're rolling with it.
I think it's an inside joke that we're not in on, Mike.
Yeah, it is. He's got 4 25 firsts already. And he has assets like Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, Dak Prescott, Nico Collins at wide receiver. Not a whole lot for the rest of it. He's got the 101, 104 this year. Like, the guy already has 4 picks, kind of signaling where his team direction's going, but he also has still carrying some of those assets for, like, a contender in season. I got 2 more, buddy. I want to shop at the
I'm already liking
Deke
where your head's
store,
at.
I guess.
Yeah. The Deke store until it's liquidated, right? Everything's for sale. Like I like
this from a pure process play for Joe Fest.
I agree. I think right now, because here's the thing, because it's 2 and because you've given me some of the economy background, Mike, I definitely want the first. I think overall, I tend to this time of year prefer to get liquid. Now, people are going to be not wrong when they say that I'm not the biggest Deebo guy. I'm a Deebo hater or whatever. So the fact that he's one of these 2 receivers probably does lend me a little more towards the 25 first. Like, Mike, straight up, if you told me instead right now of Jordan Addison, or I'm sorry, of Deebo, this is Jordan Addison and DK Metcalf, or Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers, I'm probably telling you no.
That's fair. You mentioned it.
I'm acknowledging that I don't like Deebo like those guys. It's straight up. I'll be real.
You're gonna get the Deebo hate forever.
I mean, but it's this time of year. Guys like Deebo to me are.
It's only overshadowed by my Brock Purdy hate.
That's okay. So I'm literally I have no problem acknowledging that I don't prefer Deebo relative to the field.
Which that one has been put aside for my Bo Nix hate.
Well, because Mike, let me ask you then. Like, to you, would you take this trade if it was DK Metcalf or if it was Zay Flowers? Process here.
It'd still be a little bit too. Something's off,
isn't it? Isn't so? To your point, like although I acknowledge I probably am lower than Deebo on you, Deebo I think falls out of the range of those 2 guys. Like just as assets right now. Like if you told me this is Rashee Rice, Drake London, there's no chance, bro.
No.
Sometimes it's the margins. I think is kind of what I'm getting at here for the players. So.
Yep.
Anyway, let us know what you think of it. Let us know we're crazy because I bet you people are gonna hate that.
Yuck.
Speaking of hate stuff, Mike, you ready for 3 teams? But before we do the menage a trois, all right? Before we do this thing, 10 teams, buddy. Your favorite type of menage a trois. 10-team Superflex. Start 10.
Disgusting.
Half PPR too, Mike. So we're in a lineup league. No best ball. Half PPR. We're starting 10, so shallow, and 10 teams. Mike is shallow, but he's not that shallow, all right? Tyreek Hill, Dallas Goedert in the 24-108 in this class. All right, that's what Escovedo 4. All right, I don't know why I'm reading the names here. I always do this. Bads is getting the 24-109, sending away Devontae Adams and Dallas Goedert. Joey Estrada is getting Devontae Adams, the 24-104 and a 25-second, sending away Tyreek Hill in the 108. All right, Mike. We talk about 3-team trades, and we say typically while they are having a menage a trois, there's only one team that's getting fucked. What do you think here?
Okay, I'll start in the middle. The 109 for Adams and Goddard. Neither one of them are like super sexy, right? If you told me it was Adams for the 109, the format kind of lends you to like I'd rather just write out Adams.
I'm 100% with you here. Goddard is irrelevant to me in a 10-team. Like just tight ends, I think I'd just replace. Forget it. We're talking about I don't see any tight end premium in this. It's a half PPR. I could care less about Goddard. But 109, okay, Mike, here's the thing. That in a 10-team league, I don't know for sure where if all the quarterbacks, like if J.J. McCarthy actually goes before, a guy like Brian Thomas. So at this pick here, like I don't even know that I'm getting a young receiver that feels like liquid enough. You know what I mean? Like to your point, I'd almost rather just ride out Adams unless I'm really needing to rebuild badly.
Yeah, shit. I mean, the receivers at the 109 theoretically could be like you're reaching for a Ladd McConkey or Xavier Worthy or a Keon Coleman or somebody along those lines.
Yeah, for me, it's my tier 4 of receivers, right? So I have like tier 1 and tier 2 right now. Our tier 1 is Marvin Neighbors. Then I have tier 2. I think Rome is in tier 2 for me, but with the combine, what we see today, he could end up going to tier 1. Then I have like Brian Thomas Jr. and Troy Franklin next, just because of community sentiment. And then I think the next tier is probably what you could end up getting here. Keon Coleman, Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell types. So it's I don't like it for Adams, honestly. Now, I don't think it's that horrible, though. I think it's probably appropriate.
Right. How about then the top side? You get Tyreek Hill, absolute fucking stud. Dallas Goedert, I could care less about. And
it ends up, the crazy part, Mike, is it kind of ends up being a trade of like, do I like Escovedo side or Joey Estrada side?
Yeah, a little bit. He sent away the 104, the 109,
and the 25 second. Yeah.
No one cares about the second.
Okay, Mike, 104 Tyreek Hill right now for you. Where you at? 10 team.
Tyreek.
Man, I think I'm with you. 103, I think I want the pick.
I would have said the same thing.
Damn, really? Oh, man, that's where I'm at. Yeah, I agree. Now, here's the question. 109 and 25 second or Goddard and the 108?
Who cares?
It's the same thing.
Same
different.
Shit. Right.
Same, but different.
So the top guy barely wins. Right?
But here's the question.
I would say the middle guy barely loses, so let's evaluate the bottom part.
Yeah, Joey Estrada's trade is almost an even swap. It's just there's no Goddard coming back. So it's Adams a second in the 104 or Tyreek in the 108. Can I tell you?
Barely loses on the Tyreek side.
Can I tell you why I like
108 to Adams though? Like, I think that's still an L. I think the bottom two guys in this one
take the L's
are like barely L's, and the top guy is a barely win. It's one of those weird trades where nobody got boned.
Well, I mean, first of all, just take a look at Joey Estrada's picture. I know it's hard for you to see right now, Mike, because we don't have that graphic, but this is the guy that, if you see this come through on a text or a Discord, you got, right? You're going to see something crazy. Now, Mike, here's the interesting part to me. I still think that Adams is a guy that could matter in this format, but Tyreek to me is like the perennial in a 10 team.
Really matters?
The perennial, like the there's
matters.
different levels of hammers, I think, in a 10-team league, and he's the big shebang. Mike, if you told me at 104 that I can for sure get, here's the question: how great do you feel about Rome Odunze? Do you really feel that he's in the tier with Marvin Neighbors?
Yes.
If you tell me that you can guarantee that that's Rome Odunze at 104, because probably in 10-team at least one quarterback goes. So Adams and Rome, or Tyreek Hill and Troy Franklin.
Tyreek Hill and Troy Franklin.
Okay. I think I might be.
No offense to Devontae Adams, but Tyreek Hill is so much different than Adams. Adams is on the very twilight of, like, could we get another year or two? Like, you're hoping it's a Keenan Allen type thing, except for it's with a uncertain quarterback situation. They run Aiden O'Connell back out there this year, and he doesn't get traded to the Jets and team back up with A-Rod, like had been rumored. Who gives a shit, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think I'd be willing to take, if I knew the economy, like if I could end up moving Devontae Adams in a package to like get to someone that is more meaningful or not as risky, I should say, as Devontae Adams is. If I knew that was the economy, I think I'd probably take this bottom side, honestly. But if not, I think I'd probably be with you. Really, really close. But in 10 teams, start 10. Just go ahead and give me the absolute haymaker. And it's by a hair, brother. It's by a hair in this format.
In this format, that hypothetical, like you said, though, I would take Adams over Troy Franklin. But I'm still taking Tyreek Hill over Rome Odunze, even though I love him to death.
Correct. Yes, I agree. I think it's very close. And I also don't know in this economy. I just kind of imagine that these seconds aren't valued like real seconds in a 10-team start 10. But that, again, I think it kind of comes down to the economy. I think overall I want Escovedo's side, but I also feel like I don't really know why I'm getting Goddard as a part of the deal. Like if
it's unnecessary. Get something else. Get a running back or.
Can I say that's probably why I don't want to just say like outright that was a win up there. But ultimately I can't really nitpick too much. I think that you're right. Escovedo overall is the winner. Bads and Joey Stroud. I don't think anyone lost terribly here though. I think this is probably pretty damn fair overall.
Yeah, it was a very close 10-team dog shit trade that I had to review.
Yeah, we went through. Yep, and the worst part is Mike has to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. He's got to get his magnifying glass out. We're like, what is this?
Terrible.
This is why there's only 6 trades today. All right, now let's get back into a 12-team and Schlump.
Save me,
all right?
Schlump.
Let's go halfway across the world to go get the Schlump's team. Jalen Hurts, 25-second and 26-second. Mike, can I tell you that Schlump is one of the only people that, like, I'm pretty willing to go get picks all the way out, like 3 years in Sleeper. Schlump's the only person that I see consistently willing to take them picks just all the way out there, man. 26 seconds.
Shit, if he had 28 first on the board, like, he'd be able to get him.
Oh, dude, yeah. If Sleeper let you go excessive, yeah, he'd have him.
I wonder if he's got some leagues where he's got him pinned. Like, they're
no
not
question.
available yet, but they're already in transit.
I think Schlump probably now has multiple commissioners have him keep the picks assessed, right? There's like a notes field that he has to manage.
Got him.
102, 106 in the 402 is the other side. While he is halfway across the world, Mike, this league here is in North Carolina Sports League, a 12-team Superflex PPR lineup. That's the only context we have. Where are you at here, Mike? Jalen Hurts versus the 102 and the 106. Obviously, you get 2 seconds back as well.
So the 102 and the 106 is probably a good conversation to be had, especially with where people are valuing Jalen Hurts at this point. But I'm here to say I'd fucking rather have Jalen Hurts in this 12-team format. Like, no question about it. Like, I love whoever the 102 is going to be, Caleb, Marv, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, whoever the fuck it is.
Let's say it's Jaden Daniels for the sake of argument, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels. Yep.
Jaden Daniels. And then 106 is, let's say it's Rome.
Okay. 2 great players. Phenomenal players.
Yep.
I'd rather have Jalen fucking Hurts.
I think
QB1 or QB2 in Warp. Almost lock it in.
Yeah, I think, too, like, Schlump, I wish you gave us the full context. Mike, it's a lineup league. So unless this is heavy starters, like we're starting – honestly, Mike, I got to probably start 13. Anything less than that, I'm probably taking Jalen Hurts here, especially because I get these 2 seconds. Like, I feel like I would have made this deal, to your point, for the picks, right? You let me get these 2 seconds, and I'm betting against your team. Like, I'm basically saying, here, give me all your assets and give me your future seconds, and I'll take your best player. I like it for Schlump. Knowing how he operates too, Mike, sometimes I feel like I want to explain multiple sides for the audience to listen to and think about things if they were making the trade. Like, knowing how Schlump manages his team, though, this guy is always flush with picks. Like, I've never seen Schlump in a bad situation with picks.
You want to know what he has?
So to the point is I'm perfectly fine liquidating. If I know I'm flush with picks, sending these 2 picks for Jalen Hurts is fine. The only problem I'd have with this trade is if you really couldn't afford a consolidation. But go ahead. Let's hear all the picks. This is going to take a while, everybody.
104, 108, 109, 110, 112, 202, 204, 207, 211 of note, and 3 25 first and 2 25 seconds. And now his quarterback room is Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson, and the guy who just became expendable, who he can trade and move, Trevor Lawrence.
Lord have mercy. You have a 12-team Superflex league, Mike. You just mentioned to me, I heard 4 quarterbacks in the top 12. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is just...
Yep.
See, to the point, I already know how this guy plays. Like, I can guarantee you that I want the Schlump side every time in this situation. The only exception ever where I would even try to argue for the other side, Mike, is if you basically really could not afford an up tier and you sent away 2 very, very good assets. But more often than not, as long as I can afford the consolidation, I want Jalen Hurts here every time.
Josh Allen had a 3.179 A-WARP total for the entire year. Jalen Hurts, 2.918. So 3 wins just by having one of those quarterbacks.
One of the things I think that's pretty interesting you told me, so he still has, you said 104, right?
Yep.
Is that his top pick, you said?
First pick off the board, yep.
So what's really interesting is he, at least, he kind of chilled with lightly chilled, man. I would have, if I was taking this on the other side, I'm going to need that 104. Like, I'm not letting you get that 104 pick in between my 106 here. 102 and 104, I think I'd probably be willing to do it on the other side. It's a much different conversation for me. But here, this is easy. I'll take Jalen Hurts.
Jesus Christ, man. If you're lightly chilled, too, like, why are you sending him away, man? You must really hate Jalen Hurts because his other quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield and Will Levis.
Well, can I tell you right now, Mike, there are so many people that hate Jalen Hurts. It's bizarre. Like, I get it. I get it to an extent. Like, all right, they finished terrible, whatever, but do you guys play fantasy or real football? I manage a baseball team. Fantasy league.
It's a big deal.
12 team, 2 quarterback, full PPR, start 11, League of Champions, Mike. So we got this is gonna be interesting. We end the trade show today on 7 goat rings and Saquon D's nuts. Josh Allen 25 first and a 25 second. Mike, if I see a first on with Josh Allen, I just wonder about anything in life.
The easiest way to break down the trade for me.
This is crazy.
Right, when I look at it, Josh Allen.
Let me just say real quick for the audience or the podcast feed. Sorry, the other side is, so it's Josh Allen 25 first, 25 second from Saquon, and it's for the 101, 309 Garrett Wilson and Calvin Ridley on the other end. Mike, go ahead.
Josh Allen's the 101 startup pick, maybe 102. The only other person you should put up there is Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, I guess, if you really want.
Right, he's more than the 101.
Yeah, right. Pretty easily. So he's more than 101, even if this is rosiest of situations, Caleb. I would trade fucking Caleb Williams, the 309, and Calvin Ridley for Josh Allen in a heartbeat and not even think twice about it. And then if you told me I had to send away Garrett Wilson for a first and a second, feels a little light, like maybe I could extract more, but we're at least talking business. Like, it's close enough for me where I can make that deal.
Sure.
But I'm already gaping you on the Josh Allen, the Caleb, the 309, and the Calvin Ridley part that I could really give a shit less. You going to give me a first and a second back? Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it start 11, so like ultimately what's really weird is I kind of think it depends what you think of Ridley. To me, I'm very, very cool, frankly, on Ridley as a whole. I'm cool.
Apparently the Jaguars are cool.
Well,
Ridley too.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people cool. 7 goat rings apparently as well. Mike, here's what I'll say, because the way I view this, if I have a 25 first and a 25 second in a 12-team start 11 league, Superflex, I tend to think a first and a second. Now, to the extent of this, exactly which one it'll buy you can vary league to league in the economy. But if you just start throwing around the idea of a type 15 wide receiver, right, like in the range of a Pittman, DJ Moore, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, like I'm saying almost certainly a 25 first or second can buy you a player in that range every time.
Very fair.
So if I'm tearing down from Garrett Wilson to one of those guys, but I have Josh Allen versus Caleb Williams, there's not a conversation for me. Mm-mm. And that's where I think in the deal, that's where I said now all of a sudden it hinges on, like, what do you think of Calvin Ridley? I don't think anything of him in a trade like this.
This is something where we talked with Alan on the AMA on Wednesday night, okay? But why we both are making adamant declarations that we both want the Josh Allen side here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Just so you know, Caleb Williams will get you into a conversation of a Josh Allen a lot easier than a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar Chase ever will.
100%. 100%.
Because people already put that quarterback coming back. Right? You change this to Marvin Harrison Jr. instead of Caleb Williams, right? Like, who's probably just below Chase and Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, right? Like, that's the next tier of guys. And it's Marv. It's Garrett Wilson, Calvin Ridley in the 309. Or Josh Allen, take away all the fucking picks. The answer's probably still Josh Allen. Now you toss a first and a second back, you're like, what the hell's going on here?
But can I tell you, though, what's so great about that point is that also, like, for example, we heard for, it was basically 2 full years that Bijan Robinson is the 101. And we'd have conversations about, like, if you were playing in Devi, having a Bijan Robinson versus having the 101 is so different, and to why. And that really explains it. It explains it to a degree. That 101 can be Marvin Harrison Jr. It could be Caleb Williams. It could be Drake May if that was your flavor. It could be Jaden Daniels. It could be your pick. It's your pick of the class. You get the first pick, buddy. Your pick of the litter. Like, that's a different thing than an asset that has a name, right? So, and because of, like, what you said, this year it's very much quarterback territory. Get you in a conversation with Josh Allen. So
that's nuts. Bravo, 7 goat rings though. He's back, baby. Back
I will say, can I tell you something, Mike? With the amount of subscribers that we just got recently, the fact that you still won't show Saquon these trade shows that you just abuse him on is just cruel, honestly. This feels just wrong to do this to him. Weekly.
Bring him on board.
Weekly, you just abuse this poor fella. Just let him see one time, and then maybe he'll, wisen up.
Bring him on board. Bring him on board. And for anybody who's not on board, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment away. Let us know what you thought about the deals, what we could do better, what was bad, what the terrible takes are. Garrett Wilson's amazing. Jordan Addison, you guys sold for too little. You guys are crazy. Love to hear it all.
25 first, then no.
Or if you just want to comment on how great Fizzle is on the intro and how hard that intro song goes. We love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Whatever you got.
Keep a lookout, right? I said we were going to have a massive giveaway at 5K. We blew through that like in a matter of before I was even ready, before I could prepare myself, put my helmet on, strap in. So, at the end of March, right, give or take, there'll be a big announcement. We'll be on the lookout. We're going to have one hell of a fucking giveaway, Adam. One hell of a fucking My wife is going to get so pissed at me on how many times she's got to run down to UPS or the Postal Service and send shit out. It's going to be a good one.
Love it. So stay on the lookout for that because the giveaway is going to be exciting. If you're new to the channel, go down and hit that like, comment, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss this. We do a trade show every single week. We do all kinds of content. I don't know if it's quite every day, Mike, but it feels close.
It basically is.
Yeah, it's 5 to 6 days out of the week. So make sure you hit that button. We also have shorts coming to you all the time if you're into that. But outside of that, Mike, the giveaway, the subscribers, the trade show.
Sir.
We are out of this thing. We'll see you back here. Same time, same place, next week. Peace.
We're out of here. Peace.